What's up with you? What's up with you? Back at it. And we've been catching up. We've been behind. We've been catching up on a few things, man. Trying to get it back together. Turns out old Cardi B, man, and this is the thing that you gotta understand, right? Right. Man, pull on up, man. Pull on up. We got some more stuff coming. We almost there. I think we finally gonna turn the corner, man. It's been a minute. Been a lot of hating ass niggas, you know how that is. You know how that. You already know how it is. But that's black people. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing nothing. Here we go. What we got over here? Okay, all right. Um, so the Super Bowl was one sided. Seattle domination, totally dominated them. Cardi B was there, and Cardi B is single, ex stripper, 33. Right now, Cardi B is a single. If you saw a dating profile right now, if you looked on the dating apps, you would see Cardi B. You would see she probably afraid to put this up. Ex stripper, 33, four kids, two thug baby daddies. And now she's single. And that's the thing. That's the thing about hitting the wall. See, all of that is that's hitting the wall. That's what happens. Uh, Women re-enter the dating market at a time when their value is very low. And you have to make the decisions based on what's your value. How you gonna make a decision and re-enter the dating market and you went and got just had a baby? You just had a baby, you letting the thugs hit, you letting the thugs bust off, you letting them bust off and make babies with you. I don't know I don't even know why that's even a good idea. I guess you're trying to compete with all the other women, and then you wind up on the outside looking in, back on the dating market. That immediately tells a man you don't make good decisions. Now you 30, you're making bad decisions at 30, 33. You up in the club, you grinding, you hanging out in strip clubs, you still trying to recapture moments, and this is not ladylike behavior. I know this is it's pushed and acceptable, but this ain't ladylike behavior, man. And yeah, and this is another thing. It sort of boxes you in the same thing. You can look at the people on YouTube. These are lower tier dudes, and a lot of these. We're gonna talk about that for a minute. A lot of times when you see guys on YouTube trying to brag about how many women they can get, that's because they ain't never had no money. This is the first time they've ever touched some money, and that tells you how they think. But they want to reinvent that into some type of game, some type of player. They're not players. They're not. That's not game. That's not players. And it shows you what they value. They finally get some bread, and they're out offering. They are. They're not going to tell you up front. They're out offering to all these women, and they're trying to convince you that they just getting this. They out of the clubs, and this is what you do. I've dated women like Cardi B. We go to the strip club. That's where we want to go. We want to go. She want to go there. I want to go there. Yeah, it's for fun. The dancers that come over to your table complimenting her. They'll bring applications out. I want to know if would she like to dance. But if you're a single woman with 4 kids in your 30s, that's bad decisions. Because once you have the kids, you just need to raise the kids. Don't worry about the clubs. Don't worry about all of that. And that's why dudes, that's why you see her being successful in everything except relationships. She makes bad decisions. She looks at men. She's like Keke Palmer. She makes her decisions of a man is based on shallow, meaningless stuff. Instead of her looking at the dating market, well, first of all, she's 33, right? But let's just go beyond that. Instead of her looking at the dating market saying, I got 3 children to raise, until adulthood, I got to rethink my calculations on what's a good man. I got to. She could be 6 feet, 6 figures all day, all day. But now she's got 3 kids. Now she can't necessarily be running behind a guy who's got 4 kids on the way. He done knocked her up and he got 4 other kids on the way. And then she's fighting with those women and she still got her children. That's immature. That's some high school shit. It's immature and she's paying for it. And the sad thing about it, right? The sad thing about it, I'm not a fan, but she used to beef with Candace Owens. Candace Owens is married, still married. I don't know her calibrations for selecting a man, but both of them, they're still married. Even, there's all types of rumors that it's fake. Or even with that, though, she's not up in the strip club. She's not right back out there to do what? Be a side piece. Be immature. Get dumped. Pumped and dumped. And she still got those kids to raise. You say the nanny gonna do it, okay. And when you got bread, being single is worse. It's one thing when you need money because the job eats up a lot of your time. You go to work, say you work 2 jobs, right? You get off, you eat, you sleep, maybe catch up on something. Then you back going to work. You back living, but I'm saying when you single, that eats up a lot of your single time. You're preparing yourself, getting your bank together. Something happen, something happen. If it don't, it don't. But when you rich, you wake up to nothing. You wake up to an empty bed. You go out, you got all of this stuff. You go out and shop for yourself. You buy all of this stuff to do these clothes and stuff to do what? Just to flex on Instagram. Okay, how long you think that's gonna work? So you got all these nice things, and you looking at your kids, and you ain't got no man. That's that. Even your kids gonna mess with you about that. Bad decision, man. This thing about Cardi B. That's why. And I've met Cardi B twice. I didn't meet her like we had lunch or some shit. I'm saying I met her in not walking on the street. She came to a club, and I was in the club, and I knew some people, so I got behind things, and then she waved me on. I said, "I want," and you know how security is, right? And they looked at her, and she said, "Yeah." I talked to her about a minute. She's a little short, a little short. She got big legs, short Puerto Rican looking woman with thick legs. And there was about 5 other women around at where she was at. I said what I had to say, I left. I wasn't trying to push up. Saw it at another one, just went over there and said hello this time. Left. I wasn't trying to push up. And it ain't even about that. It's not even about that. It's like you look at her in person, she got 4 kids. She's crossed that line. They said, no, I'm just saying, and the dudes, the dudes are in demand. So she got 4 kids. The dude's in demand. She'd been married, but she picked the wrong man. The clubs I was at, there was a million dudes in there who would have been loyal to Cardi B. Man, what are you talking about? There was a million dudes in there, but she chose the wrong one. And now she's got to pay for that. And she hadn't learned anything. She's learned nothing. She's going to be right back out there. She's back up in the strip club. And you can go to the joint. You can go to the shake, man, and you can go to the shake and pull women. And I'm not talking about dancers. I mean customers. A lot of times the club closed, ain't no whole lot of them, but about 30% of that club gonna fall up in the joint. And they in there to date. They in there walking around. Holler at them, get a number. It's straight. It's straight if you know what you're doing. But going up in there 4 kids deep, that's a waste of time. That's a waste of time. She got all that money. She can go anywhere. She ain't going nowhere. Hopping on online. The world saw her get dissed. See, women like Cardi, they very used to dissing men. They're not used to being on the short end of the stick. And she see that once again. This is like a lot of these dudes see that. You see all her money and all her fame. That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough to secure a man. The type of man she wants them, even when she's with the men she wants. They're serial cheaters. That means she's making bad decisions. That means those baby daddies, those kids are probably going to be like their fathers. They're probably going to be thugs. They're probably going to wind up in jail. They're probably going to be more associated with street culture, even with the money. And that's the strange thing. That's the strange thing. You say, this guy, he's in jail. He was raised in the hood or single mom, and then he turns out to be bad. Well, you can't say that about her kids. But I don't think anybody would deny her kids are probably going to wind up. Isn't that sad? I mean, I hope not. I hope not, but it's going to be what they know. They don't know anything. If a woman only dates lower tier thuggo dudes, the kids are going to be a bunch of thuggos, strippers and thuggos. And once again, it's a stain. I know, according to FBA, she ain't black, but once again, it's a stain. on the black community because I mean, look at the other look at the world, look at how the world views black people and the dysfunction. Because see, once again, even with money, that's the thing. When you look at the LeBron and his wife, right, and the allegations of cheat, I don't know, those are unsubstantiated. But when you look at that, he's a wonderful example to black culture and black people. He's a great ambassador. But when you look at the Cardi, right, and this and that, you don't people don't pick them, right? Like these are just people and celebrities. And no matter what people say, these celebrities, especially, they're very influential with the youth, with young people. They're very influential with young people. The NBA young boy is insanely popular with kids. You would say that music that he makes isn't for kids. Okay, it's not, but they find a way to listen to it. Like I said, it's over in TikTok. It's I don't know where, but over on TikTok, there's a whole bunch of videos. Them kids got to be 8, 9, and they're doing. I don't know what you call it. They do the like the FaceTime, and they're on the and both of them are rapping the same songs, and it's a novelty, right? But it's really, it's sad because you're looking at kids that young saying the things that he's saying. It was white. It's a bunch of little white boys, little black boys on there, and they've gotten a hold of it, and they've got into it so much they've memorized it, and it's sad, man. When you're in the real world and you got to function, it's sad because that stuff ain't that's gonna undermine you. If you think like that, you're gonna be your own worst enemy, and there's nobody to tell them. But here we go. Cardi B back on the market. My issue with her would be her bad decision making, her masculinity, and her mental health. When I see women and their emotions have been French fried, I'm serious. When I see that, you have to wonder about what's going to be the lingering effect of that because she just had a baby. The dude she had a baby with practically disowned her and then put babies in other women who some people would say are more attractive than she is. Ignored her money, probably been lied to. Guys would tell. I mean, she's probably been told he's got some money, bro. Um, and then to go from so-called a baby, you know, and a potential marriage to be out there single, and another thing to be out there doing, doing stuff like promising your man threesomes and let's go on a yacht and here you go, I got these women for you and stuff, shit like that. See, they live like that, and then they wonder why they can't get husbands, or they wonder why the relationships go bad. These people are not. She would have to. That's going to be some therapy. Some other dude in the wings. There's another guy out there in the wings. He's going to inherit all of that. Just like we saw with the Kiki Palmer. There's always some guy out there who's thirsty for money, thirsty to be a part of a rich. They base their things on money, and they're going to inherit 4 kids and a woman with slight mental issues, and it's going to result in a bad way for them. It happens all the time. Unresolved anger. A lot of times you get to witness them take that out on the kids too. That's gonna traumatize you. A lot of extra stuff, a lot of yelling at the kid. Kid just did something simple. Maybe the kid woke up on a Saturday and cut the TV on, and just you see somebody go into a rage over that. You don't understand, like, oh, well, yeah, from experience, you see somebody go into a loud rage at the kid, and you looking like, what's wrong with a kid watching TV early in the morning? I told him not to. You don't get up. You don't get up after before this. You don't do that. That. Yeah, la, 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 yeah, la, 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 la. And I've said that, like, who in the hell? You don't want to be around that, man. And then for me, it was like, what is she overcompensating for? Because like, what she trying to prove? She a good mother, so she's being too much. She's doing too much for that. It was a turnoff. See, the difference between me and these clowns on YouTube, these loser clowns, right? Who are gonna wind up just like Floyd, the passport bro who got caught with the. They are him. They are him. They're him. They're him. They're him. I'm talking about game. I'm really at the bench. I'm a real nigga. I'm really out here doing it. I'm really out here doing it. I'm really making shit happen. 33 years old, 4 kids, man. I don't wanna throw the towel in, but and remember, no help. No, all of that emotional stress, all of that strain. You went out and got pregnant by a nigga, he lied, say he gonna marry you, and then he dumped you, at the Super Bowl for one of his other women, and he got a baby by you. You letting niggas put babies in you, and you still getting kicked to the curb. Yeah, that's got to hurt, man. That's got to hurt. That's gotta hurt. And you take that and that's untreated, and then there's another guy out there, and he's has no standards. And then let's just go. And most of these dudes don't have no standards. So you wind up dating this guy, and this guy inherits all of that, and you're just a standby because if the minute one of the Stefon Diggs thug rappers, you guys cross paths, she's gonna be all up in because that's what you like. Right now, she doesn't have one, so the regular guy, he's gonna fall in there and be watching them kids and cheering her on and healing her up, and and then he's gonna be a sacrificial lamb. She's gonna sacrifice him, and he'll be traumatized. And as a man, black man, it gets old, man. It gets old, man. You go to the clubs, you go to the strip clubs, you see these women in there half naked, older women, divorced, trying to compete with the young women. They can't. Too much makeup on. Yeah, it's just it's not attractive. And that's the black community, man. And most people are not surprised that this happened to Cardi B. And you can learn a lot from these people. These people are in the public eye. Here we go. Said she leaves her husband to go get pregnant by another dude who had four other women pregnant at the same time. That's stupid, man. And then you know what she does? The immaturity is that she thinks she's gonna be the one. They always think they're gonna be the one. She might as well accept her pay for play days. Yep. Because she's gonna have to pay after the debacle she put herself in. Yep. Yep. And she got played, man. She overestimated her value. And that's the thing. She ain't really no different. She acts really, man, let's be for real, Kiki, Cardi B, they have a masculine approach to relationship, like men used to do when men had power. Now that men really don't have any power, they're the man in the relationship, and they treat the men like they're hoes. But the difference is, though they're women, it don't society doesn't judge them by that. They judge them by the standards of a woman. And a lot of it's immaturity. Yep, she left one thug just to pick up another thug. And why should he be with her when he has options? The relationship ain't based on nothing but convenience. It's not based on a faith. When you look at the Russell and the Sierra, and everybody's question was Sierra, would she behave within the relationship? Well, they go to church, man. She goes to revivals with him. That's not going to be on the TV. They have a faith, they have a foundation in their relationship. Their relationship ain't built on what some talk show, what some idiot that came on the Breakfast Club says. It's not based on. It's not based on Dr. Bryant. It's not based on. It's not based on Cam Newton. It has a foundation, and it's two people. It's two people who build a relationship, not one. And most men, their relationship is really just one person, really just them. Most men got their fingers crossed, their toes crossed, hoping they can maintain a relationship. That's most of them. And then you got guys out here who, well, you know what, bro? I'm not, you know what? It'll be what it is, man. Anyhow, she's back out there, man. That's on the dating market. If you single or whatever, divorce, that's what you get to pick from, bro. That's the dating market. That's what you get to choose from right there. Four kids, 33, got some money, used to strip, un 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 untreated, mental disorders, immature, loud. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? He said, I date Cardi but her first man better stay the hell away. I got you, brother. You gotta go and establish that with her. And once again, every man, most men, you gotta deal with the fact that what she's attracted to, man. She's attracted to stress. She's not gonna admit it. She's traumatized. She probably don't even she knows exactly what she's doing and she likes that. She likes competing. She likes the fact that her man sleeps with other women, but she likes trying to win him back and prove to him he should be with her. Also, that's a stunt, with this social media. She gonna hop on there and scream at women and talk about how she got her man back. She got her man back, and y'all can't have no. And we're talking about woman in her 30s. That shit old, man. She comes from the school that it's easy. That's the school she comes from. That's how a lot of Negroes date. They want something easy. That's why they say you got to get up, work out, watch what you eat, maintain your health, maintain your health. Then fitness, you want to maintain your fitness. You don't want to overdo anything. You want to focus on your money. That's why they say that. But then the Negro don't want. See, the Negro don't want to do it. See, I know. I'm gonna tell you, talking that wrong. I know exactly what they want. They want. That's what you think of. What do you think a strip club is? It's a shortcut. Why do you think they make so much money? It'd be one thing to say, "Hey, there go a shake right there, man. It's about 5 women in there. They all here, and you pass by, it be half full." In a normal society, it should be like that, but it's not like that. They put it together because they know most people or most a lot of men want it easy. They want it easy, man. And they think they're gonna get something for nothing. And she thought she was gonna get this man who got all of these women. She thought she was gonna be the one that he would be with. She got money. She went to the game. She did all of that. But you gotta understand, something for nothing. And also it was a flex. She wanted to be the one to take. Basically, and we've heard it 1,000 times. We've all heard it 1,000 times. She wanted to be the one to say, um, that's how he do them other girls. Hey, what about so and so? She about to have his baby. What you telling me for? Well, that's your man right there. So, so you gonna be a auntie. I ain't gonna be nothing to that kid. Start talking crazy about the woman and the kid. And you look at him and you say, well, why are you getting upset like that? That's a thing with him, man. In fact, they encourage him not to do. They encourage him to do nothing or as little as possible for the next kid. They have no problem with that. Encourage him not to do it. And then you got the situation where the women just pay the child support. There are women out there right now. If you date them, whatever, and the key thing is they want you. They'll pay your child support. They'll tell you in a relationship, you ain't got to worry about that. I'll pay it because they want you to be their man. They'll pay your child support. They'll pay it early. She's just a Cardi B. Yeah, that's the thing. That's Cardi B's weakness too. See, she's weak. Her choice in men weaken her. It weakens her, and it opens her up to be exploited. And Stefan, you got to understand, he got a lot of women. The Offset dude got a lot of women. Cardi B means nothing to them other than she's just a smash, and she's unable to show them that she has any other value. Okay, the money, but that's a big thing. A lot of people say, "Man, it's not even worth giving you. It's not even worth money. Dealing with this person ain't even worth money." And that's the game, man. It's supposed to be hard, man. It's a competitive world. You got to compete. That's what guys don't understand. It ain't even about women, right? It's about life. When you turn 62, don't you want to be healthy or you want to be at the hospital every 5 days? When you 75, you want to walk around, you can barely walk, you're in a wheelchair. That's what working out is about. It's not about bitches. And see, when you start talking to dudes and they talk like that, they so they so lost. Ah man, it ain't about women, it's about your health. If you blow blunts and get drunk, it's gonna impact your health. It's probably not gonna have any effect on you now, but it's gonna affect you. And it's gonna affect your kids. If you're doing that and you having children and you doing pills and all of that, well, hey, that kid's gonna be, man, that good luck. Good luck. But once again, these people don't believe in you can look at Cardi B and people like that, they don't believe in the hard way. They think the easy way is the way to live their lives. And many of them think they're living two lives. And you only live in one. This is your one moment, whatever age you are, whatever it is. Today will be the first time you've reached that age, and the clocks are going to turn. It'll be a new day, but that day's behind you. 21, 14 days, 2 hours. Tomorrow, that moment is gone. People act like they're going to live two lives at the same time. You can't do it, man. You got to live the right one now and forego the bad one. When you look at Cardi, say, yeah, you can walk around here and be a single woman with a bunch of kids. You got some money. You can walk around here being thirsty and letting all these dudes bust and getting online, but it's not worth it, right? Them kids don't have a father. Them kids gonna see what mommy's been doing. We're in the age of social media now. That's what about those kids? And then what about mommy? Mommy's 52 with no man. What dude's gonna come calling? Like, yeah, it's gonna be an old dude. Look, all of that stuff, it's always gonna be an older man out there who's trying to get a business started. And he'll look at the whole picture and then say this former rapper, and we never talk about that. A lot of these do, man, you don't imagine, you don't know how much these older brothers, 67 years old, in shape, a little, just he's a little worn. And a lot of these women marry these men, these older women, but you think they don't divorce these dudes, which they do. They throw these dudes under the bus. You see that a lot you see that a lot. It's black community. You see that a lot. Fights, burn through your credit, bankrupt, you bankrupt now. You sitting in the driveway, you walk around thinking that that's what you wanna do, and you realize it's because you got so much unresolved, self issues that it ain't even about a relationship or women. And see, that's what Cardi needs to be focused on. She needs to twerk into the nearest therapy office and sit down and get that out of her, man. 'Cause that's why she keeps picking the wrong men. Is what she sees value in. In her mind, men have no value other than the bedroom, other than making other women jealous. Beyond that, she doesn't see any value in the man. And that's fine. I mean, Steph, off, they smashed. They gave her what she was looking for. And she got what she deserved, brother. She got what she got what she deserved. He said sad because Stefan's new chick is bad. Well, hey man, there's plenty of beautiful women out there. There's always somebody that's on both sides. There's always someone better. That's why you have to be an adult. That's why you got to behave like an adult. You also got to know that you on the clock. You got to know you're not going to live forever. There's always going to be somebody better. If you want somebody better, you could miss, it's a price to pay. You could miss your mark and then you single. You and your big house and your nice cars, you single. And this is the thing, you want that in your life. You want to raise your kids. This people like Russell. Russell Wilson's a classic example. Russell is about to retire football. One of his biggest joys is watching raising a son um, who's heavily into the sports that he's into. And obviously, you can't predict that, but raising him up and teaching him to play and watching him grow and going to the games and, and being a father, but particularly for this kid, watching him grow. That's a big part of it. Now you understand his football career is over now. He's done all of that. He got all this money. What is he going to do with it? Go to the strip clubs? He's not. He's going to raise his family. And he'll be sitting in the stand watching his kid get drafted. And that's a part of his life, man. That's an experience he wants to have. See, the Negro, without a foundation, the Negro is lost. He's just lost what he prides and what he looks up to. And what happens is you look at these old Negroes, you look at these Negroes, they're now 63, single, got about 6 kids. Kids don't even fuck with them. Kids grown. They by themselves. Their health is failing. You know, because they made a lot of bad decisions. They never said, "Hey, I'm gonna focus on this relationship and take care of my kid or kids. I'm gonna get out of the clubs, man. I got to make some better decisions." They're not gonna do that because it's easy. Also, it's lack of discipline. Discipline is picking your kids up on time, making sure they got healthy food, not Cokes and potato chips, putting them to they got to go to sleep at 8 o'clock. I mean, at 9 o'clock. Got to go to sleep at 10 o'clock. Got to. No matter. Why don't you go out to the clubs, man? I don't. I can't go to the clubs. I got to prepare for the kids, and then I got to go to work. I need my sleep. Smoke on this blunt. See, look, you can do that, man. You can have your fun, right? But when you start hitting 4 kids, 33, it's time to grow up. And it's sad for me to watch this grown woman, behaving like a kid, behaving like one of these little rap chicks, or the chicks who go to those shows, immature, stupid, and look at the outcome. Immature and stupid. But this and now with social media, they get gassed up by the people on social media who are to a certain degree idiots. And like I said, they ain't used to money. They get a little money, they try to create something. They want to be the next NBA young boy. Black culture is not hip hop culture. I would say hip hop's a part of it to some degree, but it's not hip hop. It's more to it than that. Because you got to get into the jail system. Black community is extremely influenced by jail culture. I would say more jail culture than hip hop. You can make a case that jail culture influences hip hop because a lot of those dudes go in and out of jail. And they promote that. Our society looks at that. Black success is always a you was lucky. Black person has a flourishing building. It's always you was lucky. It's more about you're going to pay for your success in a negative way. That's more or less jail culture. And that's why you have all of this function, man, because people want to live like that. And these are the people who are popular in the black community. I'm gonna crawl in some DM. Hey, look. See, we mixing apples and oranges. You can, if you work hard, you can play hard. If you work hard, you can play hard, right? But that's the problem. People don't want to work hard. They just want to be given something, and then they don't want to be responsible for the decisions they make. And you pay for that. No discipline, irresponsible, uh, thirsty. Yeah, you going that's not a good recipe for success. Bad decisions, easily influenced, slave to your emotion. All of that stuff is self-destruction, man. All of it. Yeah. I think she is gonna wind up in the same cycle, man. And once again, we talked about faith, right? We talked about the whole God knows my heart. And we don't really talk religion over here, but I gotta add that to the conversation. The whole God knows my heart, Negro. The whole God knows my heart, Negro. He doesn't go to church. He doesn't adhere to any foundation or standard. Anything goes. He listens to animals on what the hip hop culture animals, and he thinks there's some kind of way that his decisions are going to benefit him in a positive way. They don't. They don't. They never do. And they don't want to be told nothing. That's another thing. You can't tell Cardi B nothing for. I mean, I don't. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. If somebody told her, but you can. You can't stop it. The Cardi B's and stuff. You can't stop that. They're going to crash out. That's just what they are. And they're so concerned with stunting and flexing and other women, trying to compete with other women and trying to get a man that can piss off other women. They wind up getting 33, 43 with a bunch of kids. They wind up at 40 acting like they're 15, 16s. I think what the Amber Rose chick does. That's what happened to Amber Rose. See, when these men get, you got to understand, these women don't have no value. Now, to the dude who ain't really getting women, that's obvious, right? Because the dude ain't really getting women. But to men who have options with women, Amber Rose, Cardi B, they don't have any value. And it ain't even about outside the bedroom. Okay, she can smash, but period, man. Her personality fucked up. She's loud. She's jealous. She's hyper jealous. Um, she's just weak, man. She's got kids and bad relationship with her exes. He gets to see her up front with her parenting skills. She's just weak. She's weak, and men lose interest in that. A man looks around and say, "I can't stay here no more." It's just not worth it. Oh, she don't listen. He can tell her 15 times to do something. She don't listen. It becomes a competition. You can start trying to tell them to do something. Next thing you know, they constantly trying. It's like a debate. It's like, what's the debate? Just do it. And especially if that man is watching people with productive relationships grow versus the one he has. Let's go to the strip club. I can see that, man. If you're young, I can see that. You guys be out having fun. Let's go to the strip club. You go to the strip club. But to be running around a strip club at 33 with 4 kids, with a box of money, that's a bad decision, man. That's a bad decision. He said, I thought you would defend Cardi. I didn't defend whatever the Bad Bunny guy. Here we go. I never even heard of that guy. But here we go. You see how the Negro